What's up? Welcome back.
Go for it.
This week in White Supremacy, we're here. We're back in the office. We're back from our travels, although we have more travels to come, including we'll be at the White Privilege Conference live in a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
inshallah, yeah.
Yeah, but we're
That's
here.
like next week, right?
That's like next week.
Yeah.
The 3rd through the 6th of April, we will have our podcast in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to do. But we're here now, and you're back. Trouble, it's good to see you. But to my immediate, I'm Jasiri X. What's up, y'all? I am co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media, and this is This Week in White Supremacy. And to my immediate right,
It's a miracle.
yes, a black
Play
woman,
with it.
a black woman who has not been fired. Miracle, Go Jones.
Despite y'all's best efforts. What's up? It's your girl, Mashallah Miracle. You know, we're like, 50% done with Ramadan?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, we're halfway through. Yeah.
I made cheesecake dates for iftar yesterday.
I don't
man,
understand
that sounds
that.
crazy.
Oh, it was good.
Cheesecake dates.
You scoop out the date middle, you stuff it with cheesecake, you top it with dark chocolate, and then I took these cookies and I grated it
As
on
if
top
dates
of
aren't
it.
sweet enough.
And it was good. Like, I was just
Your
like,
cheesecake dates make all the Muslims come to the yard.
Oh shit!
I'm trying.
Ya Allah, haram. Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
Woo!
We're playing the long
I'm
game.
unsubscribed.
Break your fast over this way.
I am unsubscribed.
Are you unsubscribed?
I am
Oh
unsubscribed.
my goodness!
Ya Allah, my brother.
My brother.
Ya Allah.
Trouble in LS?
It's your boy Trouble in the Less, Never Like Supremacy, Next Level Shaman.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes. Good to see you back from off
Oh,
the
yeah,
road.
it's
You've
good to
been
be
been
back.
rolling too.
Yes, I have.
Yes. But
Back.
good to see you. Good to have that, calmness to our podcast, that balance. And on the other side,
Sudden irritations. Oh, wait. No, I lost it. Damn. I lost it. Sudden anger is irritating daily.
go okay. Sudden anger, irritating daily.
Yeah.
Come on, sometimes
Yeah.
things happen, brother. We're back though.
All is through Allah. All is through the will of
Yes,
Allah.
yes. Come on, man. It's just what you got to talk again during Ramadan.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. I'm like,
Gather the saliva in your mouth, brother. Gather it up.
and we'll be back next week. Jesus Christ.
Deep breaths.
Yes. Deep breaths.
Wow.
Saliva gathering.
Don't swallow.
All right. Yep.
These are.
Woo-wee.
I definitely don't say that. But
How to stay
Oh, Lord.
one-on-one. How to stay
Lord.
focused.
Stay focused. So we do have
Consecration.
like 2 breaking news.
hell is hot.
Incidents.
It is dark and hell is hot.
We're going to have to make up today.
We are going.
Yes. Oh, is that just?
I'm about to just eat
just
something
break out
right
the
now
water.
and stuff Allah, like, yo.
Break out the water already.
Jesus Christ, man.
So, 2 breaking news events happened today. Probably the most pressing one is the UN Security Council passed a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
only 7 months later.
But this was,
30,000 people dead, 2 million displaced.
true.
Better
All of
late
that.
than
Yeah,
never.
I mean, better late than never. And again, it's something that, people
How
have been
regrettable
calling-
is that, though, that this could have been done
Yeah.
with haste and at the,
Yes.
you know what I mean, before 2.3 million people.
Definitely were displaced.
Yeah.
And, again, I mean, I think that it is, as we look back, particularly because of the loss of life, the loss of children's lives, you see people like starving right now. Obviously, the world could have reacted sooner. And
Well, I think the world reacted promptly.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
and
the
more
world-
so,
yeah.
the United States, who had previously vetoed much, anytime that the ceasefire came up, they would utilize their veto in protection of Israel. Now, it seems they're saying there's tension now between the U.S. and Israel, and we've kind of seen that play out over the last week. We saw, Chuck Schumer, who is the highest ranking Jewish politician ever, right, as the head of the Senate, basically called Netanyahu somebody that is, what's the terminology he used? a stumbling block towards peace, something to that regard. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that had been previously very supportive of Netanyahu and the state of Israel. We saw, VP Kamala Harris call for a ceasefire, and President Biden in his letter during Ramadan called for a ceasefire. Now that we finally have it on a UN. I'm sorry.
Who would have thought Kamala would have done it before Joe?
I looked at Miracle's face. Okay, so I'm coming to you, Farouk. Now that we have it done on a United Nations level, right?
Which is just another toothless facade that sits in Geneva on their castle, casting aspersions at other nations.
So you don't think this is going to have any type of effect on?
When has the UN ever been able to hold anybody to anything? The most they could offer up is a binding resolution and some harsh words.
Correct.
Right, and that's it. They're toothless. It's really just like placed there as just a puppet.
Well, I think that's how people feel, right? Yes. Because the UN has been critical.
I am people.
The UN has been very critical throughout this process, right? But that criticalness, or that the calling out of the different things that Israel's doing, many whom feel reach the level of war crimes, has not stopped Netanyahu and Israel from continuing to go into Rafah, continuing to destroy mosques and schools and hospitals and all of those things. And so I'm coming to you, Miracle, now. Where does this go? Is this maybe the world now isolating Netanyahu? If Biden and Harris and Schumer are all coming out and saying Netanyahu needs to stop this madness, to the point that apparently he just canceled his trip to the United States to address, Congress, will this have some type of effect on the possibility of Israel getting new leadership and a new direction coming in regards to what we see happening in Israel and Palestine? Deep breath, Miracle.
This is about process.
Gather your saliva.
Yes.
And I never had that problem. And this is about people trying to reclaim that international law matters.
Yes.
When we have seen for the past 6 months, it has been an abject failure.
Yes.
The ceasefire resolution now lays the groundwork for other states to recognize Palestine as an official state, to possibly kick Israel out of the UN, similar to what happened with South Africa and apartheid. Oh, wow. And it allows for other nations to stop doing future arms deals with Israel. However, we have given them so many weapons and so many guns that
they're good forever.
The ceasefire really does not stop the violence that's going to be happening to the Palestinian people. What we need, as we talk about these two, we don't even know how long the ceasefire is, because it says for the period of Ramadan. That's just another couple of weeks.
Right.
They originally said they were doing a 6-week humanitarian pause.
Yes.
So we may have even gotten something shorter than what we've been demanding for the past 6 months. So we don't even know really what this ceasefire looks like. We have said, for many of us, this is a political problem. Netanyahu is a reflection of not only the U.S. government, but international organizations who refuse to sit there and say, we need to move into the 21st century.
Right.
We need to have better ways to engage and incorporate people that we do not view as human, whose religions that we do not respect, whose cultures don't matter to us.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What we are dealing with is one of the worst humanitarian atrocities that we've ever seen.
Yes.
On top of trying to figure out how to help people in Sudan and the Congo and in, South and Latin America. We have created all of this violence, and it seems that it all came to a head in 2024. What was happening in Palestine, the crisis at the border, the inflation, everything was connected, and we've seen that we need something to change. And hopefully today is like the first step to be like, you know what, we can't live like this anymore. But what I'm fearful of is Netanyahu and co, right? Basically being like, we're going to do what we're going to do anyways, and doing a full-scale invasion a Rafah just because there's nobody to tell them no.
So this is just to touch on this, what they said, and you mentioned it. It says the resolution put forward demands an immediate ceasefire for the month of Ramadan, the immediate and unconditional release of hostages, and, quote, the urgent need to expand the flow of aid into Gaza. The UN Secretary General said a failure to implement the resolution will be, quote, unforgivable. And so at that point, I think, like you said, I mean, if Netanyahu was to basically say, I'm going to do it anyway, you're doing it in the face of now like the world saying enough is enough. And maybe that because again, like you're right in terms of reflection of U.S. policy, but we do now see, you know, these particularly like this was the question around the Democratic Party and what would they be willing to do in the face of this. Now we're seeing them kind of take a stand, albeit like you said, very, 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 very late in the game. Yeah. Right. Taking a stand. So, but it's going to be, I guess. And then this is also, you know, in response, I saw a tweet today as when Pennsylvania goes to the polls in April 23rd, people are saying vote uncommitted again. Right. Yeah. So this is in response to a lot of these folks saying uncommitted and really like the younger demographic saying we're not interested in voting for the status quo because like you said, Miracle, I mean, it's hard to get into the 21st century when the people running for president are 81 and 78. I mean, it's like, how do we get there?
Relics from the early 20th century.
Yeah. Yes. And so you were going to say, Fruit.
What are they going to do that's going to be some really like that has any teeth, right? And that's the thing. Like, so thumbing your nose in U.S. policy, at foreign policy, at global affairs, whatever, that's what they've been doing. So nothing is new.
Well, what the new part of it is that they were doing it with the United States as an ally.
With
right?
the support,
so
yeah.
They were doing it with...
So now what, they don't have front-facing support? Now it gets done behind closed doors?
Well, now you don't have... Exactly. You do not have front-facing support. For instance, you know, like we said...
But it's still support.
Well, Netanyahu just canceled his visit. The national security spokesman... John Kirby basically said, we're disappointed they will not be coming to Washington, D.C. to allow us to have a fulsome conversation about viable alternatives to going in on the ground in Rafah. So here is now like from the highest levels of our, you know, the White House, the Senate, what we're seeing is, you know, American foreign policy saying, we do not want you to do these things. And if they do it now with the world saying this, you have it to where they are isolated on a world stage. And so again, does that mean they're not going to do it? I mean, you said, Netanyahu has the weapons. He obviously he said he's going to go into Rafah anyway. And because he wants to quote unquote finish the job, but maybe this is setting up some type of possibility that Israel can have new leadership. Trouble, you know, as somebody, you're a young person who has been looking at this and watching it, you know, through social media lenses. Like, how do you see what's happening in Israel-Palestine just in general? And what do you think about, you know, the United States being more forceful in its decisions towards Netanyahu and the current leadership of Israel?
So, like, overall, I feel like the whole issue is wild. It's nuts. I don't think that genocide is ever okay or justified in any way. I also think, like, I agree with Farouk when he says that the UN's response is mad late. You know what I'm saying? And from hearing what you read about what, you know, they said the reasoning was, it's like, so you mean to tell me that, like, you were okay with 30,000 plus people dying, millions of people being displaced, but once Ramadan come around, all of a sudden you have sympathy and stuff like that.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know, that just feels kind of off to me. You feel me? It
does. I mean, again, I think Ramadan was one thing because you have the whole Muslim world operate, and, you know, they have to, you know, Ramadan, a lot of politicians do an iftar thing, and you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it makes them look a lot more complicit.
Exactly. And so, but you're right.
All of that is just pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, you're right. And I think, like, we'll see where this goes now. And again, like, it's almost like now the ball is in not just Netanyahu's court, but the Israeli people. I don't know how their democratic or political institutions work. I know that hundreds of thousands were protesting Netanyahu even before October 7th. And so, but I think the need for new leadership is obviously necessary now more than ever, and literally lives depend on it. And I think when you're looking at, again, in Ramadan, we fast, right? So to see like people starving to death and the lack of food during Ramadan just further highlights how wicked these policies are to a child that didn't have anything to do with what happened on October 7th. And so at that point, if the world doesn't step in, we're clear right now. We're just going to see more and more and more people dying.
And it's wild because we're already headed to April next week.
True.
This has been happening since October.
Yeah.
And now at the end of March is when they want to say something.
Yeah.
I feel like this response should have been like months ago, before 2024 even got here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see as, Biden and Harris are on this campaign trail, because there has been a lot of people, protesting and speaking out against really all of these figures, all over the world. And so that'll be interesting to see. So now moving to the domestic policy, we have some more breaking news, and we have a loss and a victory in court. Now, we know Donald Trump has mad court cases. A lot.
Said the Fed's taking pictures of him.
How many cases he got? A lot.
He got a lot of felonies and a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? So the case people were focused on was this judgment, right? This $400 and how many million, $65 million judgment that was going to go into effect today, and the possibility that they could take his properties, right? Will they take Trump Tower? Will they take Mar-a-Lago? So everybody was kind of looking at this, but he actually had a victory today where an appeals court panel said that he would be allowed to post $175 million, not the nearly $500 million judgment against him. Obviously, this was a big moment for him because they couldn't get a bond for $500 million. You know what I'm saying? And so what do you all think about white privilege working on behalf of Donald Trump?
I mean, he's looking more and more like the Teflon Don.
Yeah.
Like we might have to bring Teflon T back, man, because he's staring down these niggas and standing on business, and he's 10 toes, and everything he's saying is like, yo, you know what? You're not gonna move me. Man, it's here.
Yeah, I mean, again, it says the panel gave Trump 10 days to come up with 100. What if he can't come up with 175
I was just about to say, what if he doesn't?
That would be wild.
I mean, at this point, once they made one concession, they balked at him already.
Absolutely.
So now he has no reason to, adhere to anything. What, they gonna hit him with another gag order? Fuck it, I'm just gonna talk anyway. You're gonna hit me with another $500 million in fine? Fuck it, give me another 91 felonies. Fuck it, we here.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're not going to arrest him,
Miracle was right this whole time.
You're right, Miracle.
Miracle's called this the whole entire time. They're not gonna do shit.
Miracle, as a Trump lawyer, no.
This is twice you've come for me today.
Stop hitting the damn table.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I keep hitting the table. Let me put my hands down. Miracle.
Next shot, Miracle is going to have to make an appearance.
Yes. So, Miracle. Another victory. Well, a victory for Donald Trump, seemingly.
I mean, he's got a billionaire in his back pocket who's willing to finance money for him, right?
That's true.
And I think that in this whole conversation about Trump and white supremacy, we have to think about the ways in which these billionaires are able to buy elections. They're able to literally buy judges.
Come on.
They can buy the whole entire system and get things to turn out the way that they want to help benefit them and enrich their pockets.
Yes.
So Trump basically is getting a free pass.
Yes.
To do whatever he wants within the civil and criminal justice systems that would have literally put him in jail.
Yeah.
he would have been waiting in. Had he not been Trump and any other person,
True.
he would have been in jail this whole entire time.
Yes.
But because it's Trump and he has this power and this attachment,
Yeah.
people are letting him really do what it, because no one wants to be the one to make the king fall, right?
Can I ask you a question, Miracle?
Yes.
Was Jeff Yass his trump card?
So for those that don't know, Jeff Yass is a
Please leave.
Republican donor. He's the wealthiest man in Pennsylvania. And ironically, Jeff Yass is also a major investor in TikTok. So Jeff Yass is a major investor in the company that owns TikTok. And so apparently Jeff Yass had a meeting with Trump. Something was exchanged and Trump changed his tune on TikTok. And instead of wanting to ban TikTok, Trump now says TikTok should not be banned. Apparently, Jeff Yass also owns the shell company that just merged with Truth Social to give Trump another inflection of cash. And so, like you said, Miracle, I mean, here is Trump now only having to pay $175 million to somebody like Jeff Yass, who is a multi-billionaire. That's nothing.
Great guy. Deep pockets. Wonderful person.
So where do we go now, Miracle?
It really makes absolutely no sense, because you could feed everybody in the world.
You can feed everybody.
Clothe everybody in the
Yes,
world.
yes.
And still have time to do whatever rich people want to do.
100%.
And I do not understand. Like, I ask myself all the time, like, what do these people want?
Yes.
Like, what
More.
is their, like,
More.
like, what is their end game?
Everything.
What's your
You know
end
what I
game?
mean?
Everything.
It's just
Yes.
like, you want to conquer the world, but like, but
Yes.
for what? Like,
Yes.
what do you get in return?
Yes.
And so, look, I'm just lost. But the fact that this man, who is a billionaire, can set up a shell company to purchase, invest True Social, to
Yes.
fund money to Trump so he can pay off millions of dollars, so he can continue these court cases
Yeah.
that we all know he's guilty of, instead of just stop talking, taking a plea, and going about his day. In my mind, it makes no tactical sense.
Yes.
It makes no strategic sense. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like you said, Jeff Yass could say, you know what? I don't want any more homelessness in Pennsylvania. And he could like solve that
Yeah, and
problem.
just like
no
this.
more homelessness, no more children
But
having
instead, homelessness is now being further criminalized.
to further criminalize.
in
Right.
the Third Reich with palm trees.
Yes, and Ron DeSantis has basically said it's illegal for a homeless person to sleep outside.
To exist.
In Florida. Hot ass Florida, warm ass Florida. No, I can't sleep outside in Florida. But what are you going to do? You're just going to fill the... I mean, to me, that's probably it
Will
is,
you stop
right?
all the rednecks from parking on their yards next?
But that is, a couple of people have been saying, like, we are moving into the most expansive, surveilled build up to mass incarceration
Yeah.
that we have ever seen.
Ever.
We're watching it.
And we're taking homeless people and incarcerating them, taking people who are suffering addiction disorder, incarcerating
Yes,
them,
yes.
people with mental health disorders,
Yes.
incarcerating
Yes.
them. We are creating a world that we're only going to be able to survive off of either investment or slavery. And we
Yeah.
haven't even began to visualize what resistance to this looks like.
And
Absolutely.
this is as crime is falling. That's what's so
Crime
fascinating
is
about that.
Historically low.
But crime, well, except in the Trump household. Where crime is historically
I'm about
high.
to say that's their coat of arms.
And so Trump's April 15th trial, remember, Trump
Oh,
was
the
trying
irony of that.
Trump was trying to delay the hush money trial. This is the trial in New York City where he paid a porn star to be quiet as he tried to run to the White House
Of
because
all the
they
things
had
you
an
could pay
affair.
a porn star for, being quiet is usually not what they get.
Well, I think he paid her for the other thing first.
Oh shit.
And then after that, he had to pay her to
make
be
any
quiet.
noise. No
So
more noise.
April 15th, Miracle, New York City. Could this be Trump going to prison or jail? I think it's like 30 felonies, something to that effect, right? Is this it? Miracle?
I was waiting for the
Oh, okay. You were waiting for
special effect.
Yes.
No.
Okay, he's not going to jail.
Like April 15th, no.
No?
It's too close to the election. It's going to be pushed back.
Well, they said it's not going to be pushed back. It's going to.
They said they wasn't going to drop this $500 million bond.
It's too close to the election. They're going to push it back. Something is going to happen. There's going to be
okay? So you think that
no, you can't have a trial for a candidate a week before the election that's going to be televised.
The election's in November, Miracle. What are you talking about? No. He's already the Republican nomination. He doesn't need any primaries.
We have our primary on April 23rd.
Yeah, but if it starts April 15th, he's already the nominee. There's no reason for him to do any more primaries. He's the nominee. Nobody's running against him. How's it unfair?
It is
Miracle.
Unfair.
He paid this woman to be quiet. Miracle. He must suffer the consequences.
What he's going to argue because it is.
But they argued, and
they'll go back because if they have, I will be very shocked if they have an April 15th, and I will bet you that Pennsylvania Republicans will try to file something to get this court case moved. But no, it's not going to happen.
But Fannie also said,
listen,
as she came back, Fannie ducked the punches, and
her man lost his job.
He'll be all right.
To worry about.
But Fannie is also saying that she is going to hold this trial before the election. You're saying none of these trials will be held before the election. That's what you're saying. Okay.
I would be very shocked within 6 months. First of all, how long did it take for the Young Thug trial to go?
It's still going.
They've had like 14 different delays. The amount of time it takes just to sit a jury, it's going to be improbable to have these cases go on. It's just getting the jury alone has been taking weeks and months.
True.
So I don't see how they're about to do this, which is again why he should have just done a plea.
Yeah.
He pleaded out, got his little citation, and gone. Like, this is just waste of everybody's time at this point. Everybody's time, everybody's money. Nobody's getting famous off this. Nobody's going to be able to run for attorney general off this. Nobody's going to be able to run for Senate off this.
You think if Fannie, is the person who puts criminal charges on Trump, Fannie's already I didn't know who Fannie Willis is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she's already famous in a sense. And if she's the one that puts criminal charges on Trump, she'll be bigger
than Nancy Grace.
She might mess around and be like vice president on the vice president ticket like in 2028. You don't think so?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Not in the South, not in Georgia. It's not hot. No.
But I'm saying the vice president is a national thing. People in California didn't like Kamala Harris, but guess what? She's the vice president now, regardless of what people in California didn't like her.
This is Georgia. She had an affair with a married man.
Oh.
She's not. Her part. Yeah. It's no. She has too much baggage.
Yes.
So national skin. No. I do not foresee any of these trials going before April.
Yeah.
At all. Halfway before November. And even if something were to happen, like a conviction, I don't foresee Fannie making it to 2025, given how rabid, fanatic his supporters are.
You mean something's gonna happen to her? Violence.
I would think that Trump people will be that violent. You gotta remember, Georgia, we've had a sheriff shoot another sheriff because he won an election. Political violence in Georgia is long and wild.
It's American as apple pie.
To prosecutions. But how long it took for the Young Thug trial, for that jury to be seated, there's no way. And then if they get it remanded out of Atlanta and for a fair trial, you're going straight to Trump country to have this trial.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a walking exoneration.
Yeah, it's a kangaroo court.
It's funny. It says Fannie Willis said Saturday, to quote, "The train is coming," referring to her team's preparation against
come on, the train,
Donald Trump,
and ride it. Woo.
I think when you are prosecuting a case, and they teach you about this in law school, media could be your best or worst.
Yeah.
So I think she has used the media too much. For the way she has prosecuted a lot of her cases outside of the Trump case. So it has created this impression that they have evidence they do not, that they have this ability to get these convictions they don't have, when in reality they're just making people wait until they just play something out. And that is one of the tools of of the Willis administration is they force plea bargaining.
Hey, this is what she said. She said there's one district attorney in the state and really around the country that has the courage to do this. And she continues to do this. Say my name, Fannie Willis. What's up?
What is like?
Why would she say?
Why would people like? It doesn't make sense.
Slow your roll, Fannie.
It's not even slow your roll. It's like, okay, I am the only prosecutor who's wanting to take on these cases because we all watch these crimes happen.
Yeah,
it is the communication that's going to be a problem for her. This public messaging, you don't need that. We've been working for 6 months. We have investigated this case. We are ready to push forward. We are qualified. And no matter what challenge Trump throws at us, we're going to be able to overtake it. You move on. You keep it simple. You have a good day. All that other fluff, it doesn't go over well.
Well, we also, I mean, we can stay in court, right? Because another court case, and it took a while, but there was this case in Mississippi that we haven't talked about this yet. It's kind of fascinating, but we hadn't talked about these goon squad officers in Mississippi, and they called themselves the goon squad, right? That tortured these two black men, apparently because these two black men were with white women, right? So these officers really formed a gang, like many officers do. This is one of the critiques we have of policing as a whole, and that these self-described goon squads literally like captured these black men and tortured them, right? It says depictions of racially motivated beatings, torture, sexual assaults, and even a mock execution played out over 3 days. And it says that, he put the gun in the one guy's mouth and pulled the trigger. And so we saw these goon squad members get, 40 years, 27 years, 20 years. Is this kind of a victory for those of us that are pushing back against police violence?
I think so. I mean, it's a small step.
Yes.
But for me, what irritates me is that there hasn't been any legislation or anything imposed yet that creates an enhancement against law enforcement officers in a court of law.
Right.
Like if you affiliated with a gang, Crips, Bloods, Latin Kings, GDs, whatever, you have a gang enhancement attached to you. So whenever you go into court, whenever you're going to get prosecuted, your sentence is exponentially higher. Right? They prorate it in a sense. Yeah. Why can't the same thing happen for law enforcement officers? You have a specific duty not to operate outside the parameters of the law. Right? Why can't you be held to a higher standard and then to an enhancement of more time automatically, or at least mandatory minimums for police officers? So I mean, is this something cool? Like, okay, 40 years. All right, I hope he do every day of them 40 years. Right? We abolitionists here, except for when it comes to these people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I mean, cool, but like, I seen the one man who was in court giving him, he's like, I forgive you. Shit, nigga, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, again, and that's oftentimes like, like
black folks is gracious people, man.
The black religious Christian thing to do.
Yeah.
But like you said, and then
God is good all the time, and all the time
God is good.
There you
but
go.
more than that, I think you're going to see what we would like to see.
We'll come back to that.
The sad part is they'll also probably get protective custody, right?
Absolutely. They're going to be in PC the whole time.
Right. So they're not even going to have to do the type of jail sentencing. Well, I don't know, because, they got Chauvin. I mean, Chauvin got...
Yeah, he did. He got poked.
He got poked up a lot of times. So, I mean, I don't know.
They queffed him. You know what I mean?
If folks want to maybe look to that as an example, I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the same thing happens to these
little bit of baby oil, rub that on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So, Goon Squad, you have a take on this trouble?
As far as if it's a win, I feel like it would feel more like a win when we can prevent stuff like this from happening in the first place.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know
Great point.
Where like, because like Farouk said, if there's some kind of, weight that could be put on if you're charged for something like this, maybe that would deter certain officers from doing it. But at this point, I feel like a lot of them are looking at the fact that they are law enforcement, and that they get a lot more special, treatment when they go to court for stuff like this. So they're like, we could, what I'm saying? Like, we could take those charges. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So
apparently, the officer who shot Jenkins, Hunter Edwards, who shot Jenkins in the mouth, said, "Mr. Jenkins, I see you every day and every night. I'm so doggone sorry." So he apologized to Jenkins first.
Crocodile tears.
And basically Jenkins nodded, and Parker said, "We forgive you, man." But Jenkins said, "No, that apology meant nothing to him." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As the person that was shot. Miracle. One of the things that happened, let me see. People were saying that they've never seen justice like this happen. In the case of a rogue Mississippi police, this was a federal prosecution. Is this how we should be looking at when we just had a rogue police officer here tase a man to death? You know what I'm saying? Jim Rogers to death, and that officer who tased Jim Rogers to death was put back on the Pittsburgh police force. That's something that a lot of community members, including us at One Hood, abhor and are completely against. Do we need to say or ask for the federal government to come in and deal with these rogue police officers?
Yes. So the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is always able to go in and prosecute these cases, especially when there is such a heinous incident on the basis of race, or includes the possibility that the basis of race was used to harm people. This particular incident was so violent,
yes.
and it started because there was an interracial connection.
Yes.
Black men, white women.
Yes.
And that is what made these officers act the way that they did.
Yeah.
And so and I know in Pennsylvania we had, independent investigations legislation. We have, a Department of Justice here, the, AUSA, the, Assistant U.S. Attorney's Office. They very rarely get involved in cases. When, Mike Brown was murdered, we tried to get the DOJ involved in the murder of Mike Brown.
True.
There was a lawsuit here with Leon Ford.
Yeah.
It failed, right? And so a lot of times these offices do not use their position to get these police officers up out of here, but they need to. You can do that. I know locally the NAACP here has asked folks to get in contact to prosecute the officers who murdered Jim Rogers.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult. And a lot of times people do not want to overstep the local district attorney. Mm-hmm. And people have to remember your local district attorney, whether it's Ahmaud Arbery, whether it is Mike Brown, whether it's Trayvon Martin, your local attorneys have the initial responsibility to prosecute these murders. And just because they abscond in their duty doesn't mean that the Department of Justice can too. And so people need to be demanding the Department of Justice steps in.
Absolutely.
People need demanding, and it's just right up on Grant Street as they take on these cases, but they just don't have the political will to do so, which is why, we try to do abolition and create liberation so we don't have to worry about murder and violence.
Yeah. And again, I think that if we saw more of this, right, if we saw more of these rogue police officers dealt with in that manner, right, giving real time, right, and having to go to prison and deal
removing
with what
qualified immunity, having them personally liable for all of this. Yeah, then we would have some transformative change real fast.
Real police reform. Well, speaking of
also, I do think it's wild that these police officers got more time for, torturing two black men who are still alive.
Yeah,
right?
Thankfully, yeah.
Than any police officer I've seen kill innocent black.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And I think we saw some semblance of justice with Ahmaud Arbery. We saw some semblance of justice now with this case. But like you said, even Chauvin, I think, only got 10 years, maybe less than 10 years for brutally murdering George Floyd. So it is a sense of it'll be interesting where we see this go. Where I was going with change is that we're seeing a lot of these laws happen all over the country when it comes to DI. So we saw Alabama, sign laws prohibiting diversity, equity, inclusion at public schools and universities. We saw Kentucky do the same thing. This is after Oklahoma and Texas and Florida. All these people dealing with no more DI. They're saying that a fourth woman at Harvard is being accused of plagiarism as they're doing the DI. And then even DI has even reached the white supremacist spaces, the attack, where Candace Owens was fired from her white supremacist platform, the Daily Wire. They said she was fired by just a lot of breathing going on.
You know, I think we need to change DEIA to DEIG.
What's that mean?
That equality is gone.
You're giving them like more stuff to deal with.
Man.
So is it
Them niggers is out of here.
Is it like the cows coming
Barbara?
home? The cows coming home to roost?
Who's Barbara?
The lady who wrote the letter last week.
Seeing Candace Owens basically be a victim.
Candace got canned.
Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire said, "Candace." Is this the cows coming home to roost? Because Candace is
The
somebody.
cows coming home to roost?
Is that what is it? What am I trying to say? What's the saying? What's the saying?
What is wrong?
What's the saying?
Chickens coming home to roost. Chickens coming home to roost never made me glad. What about gonna say? Chickens coming home to roost never made me mad. Made me glad.
Is that what we're seeing here with Candace Owens? Losing her job. Ironically, these people talking.
She lost her job after she lost her edges.
Did she have edges to begin with?
I was thinking that. Like,
Candace was living life on the edge. She was on the wire, now she on the edge.
Miracle, do you have careful on the table? Do you have any comment on Candace Owens being fired, Miracle?
I really don't, because I don't view her being fired as a situation that is an indication of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes.
I view her being fired as the fact that she signed up to be the black face of white supremacy.
She did.
Come on.
And decided to step out of uplifting white supremacy.
Correct.
And got fired because she did not sign up to play the role of equity and inclusion.
Yeah.
And being like, maybe genocide isn't the thing we should be fighting for.
Right.
Her being fired because she did this one right thing is not about DEI. It's about the fact that she has made her career on dehumanizing and disparaging black people.
That's what she has.
On saying that racism didn't exist, that white supremacy didn't exist, that black parents just weren't in the home, that, George Floyd was just a drug addict, was doing revenge porn with people who were suffering from addiction disorder. A whole bunch of stuff that she was doing was dead naming people, disrespecting queer and trans people, putting out the worst stereotypical messaging to harm people. No, she is not someone I really care about. She got fired, right?
Yeah.
There, is the professor in Texas that we talked about before.
Yeah.
He's about to lose his job.
Yeah.
We have artists all across this country who had, there was a protest at the Met because people couldn't do their art.
Yeah.
There's so many things happening that we can have a conversation about DEI. The White House getting rid of their office, of diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
All of these universities, in Florida and Alabama getting rid of their offices because they do not want black people within their halls unless they're catching a ball. That's a problem. We can talk about that, right? We can talk about what we are doing to these athletes, how we are going back to Jim Crow and segregation.
Yes.
With DEI being this tool that we've been using to ostracize people.
Yes.
But not to me, Candace Owens, that's just not it for me.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that it says the U.S. House Office of Diversity and Inclusion will be dissolved as part of the government spending bill that passed. They ain't have enough bills for diversity and inclusion. So it is fascinating to watch that. It's also fascinating to see Candace run to black creators and black media folks to try to, I guess, ingratiate herself possibly to black people and a black audience.
She said, hey, look, I'm black after all.
Yes. Well, she kind of messed up when they asked her if she had any... they asked her the God is good question. Do you have that? Did you want to play that clip? So she...
God is good. God is good. Amen.
No. No. I thought you were going to say God is great. Thank you for the
God is great.
No.
God, all right,
Y'all not gonna give it answers?
I'm gonna do you, Charlamagne.
Yeah.
Charlamagne, God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
Wow.
God is good.
That's right.
So clearly, Candace is
Church.
To have one trash human being ask another trash human being if God is good, it's just like the highest level of irony to
Wow,
me.
that is-
Like two people that we can just do without hearing from ever again.
so funny, so funny. Any comment on Candace Trouble?
Fuck Candace.
Come on, man.
I don't know why she's as relevant as she is. I don't think that she should be relevant. I
neither.
think that the black media outlets that are platforming her right now are as opt out as she is. For
Yes.
real. Yeah, I do. I'll fuck Candace for a sec. Back to DEI. I do think it's wild what's happening with DEI across the country.
Yes.
Because it's like, we knew back in 2020 when all of these things were being put into place that
Yes.
it was just kind of like, they were just like, oh, look at us. You know what I'm saying?
Window
Like,
dressing.
Yeah, facts. It's just like, yo, you know what? Don't take your money out of what we're doing here. Look, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to be so angry
Look at these
anymore.
3 or 4 black people that we hired.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we turned our head, they was like, fire all them niggas. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
They were
Like,
waiting for this
yes,
shit. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
So it's like, we knew that they weren't really like putting any substance behind the things that they were incorporating. It was really just to silence us for a little bit.
But like Miracle said, what I would like to see is these elite athletes say, look, if you don't want
Yeah.
to teach about my culture, my people, I'm not going to come play football there. I'm not going to come play basketball there. I'm going to go to a Michigan or Oregon or a USC or a Penn State or Pitt, right? I'm going to go to schools and places that have DI or invested in DI. I'm not going to go to Alabama. I'm not going to go to Florida because the minute those elite black athletes stop coming there to play football and basketball, they will change that rule immediately because they're going to lose all that money. And so that's really for us to educate a lot of these young athletes about the real power they have. Remember when Missouri during Ferguson was like, we ain't playing the game.
Yep.
And how quickly that shit changed at Missouri.
Because you get, I mean,
And that was
you're talking
one
about
game.
billions of dollars of boosting,
Billions of
like
dollars.
billions with a B that goes into college
Yes.
football. It's a religion in these places.
Yeah, so I don't know if we call Kaepernick or what other athletes that can lead that type of charge, but that's the type of charge that I want to see.
Absolutely.
But before we go, we do have another black male
And
segment.
we love it. We love it.
And the last time we were here, we talked about Miss Barbara on our black male segment. It was pretty funny.
Not just pretty funny.
It was hilarious. I don't know if she's watching Matlock now or if she's still tuned in to This Week in White Supremacy.
Or if she's still alive. We don't know.
Oh, fuck.
What's wrong with this dude?
It's
Miracle, Miracle, come on.
I'm on one today.
So we got a black male that the subject is that 100-year-old woman really owned your ass.
Oh?
Now, number one, we do not know if Barbara was 100.
Nah, I mean, we're estimating around 80.
She did say
conservatively.
she knew 100-year-old people that was
Cognitively sharper than the people at this table. Which, okay.
Okay, can we read the blackmail?
Let's read. Okay, hold on.
How long is this blackmail?
It's not that long, but it's sort of long. Okay, so it says, so then this 100, and I took some
Creative liberties.
Yeah. It says, really brave to trash talk folks you perceive as friendly. So then this 100-year-old woman writes your show with some mild criticism. And on cue, typically too, y'all acting like little bitches about it.
Ooh! Give us the smoke, friend. Give us the smoke.
Man.
Gonna millennial mansplain it. Ooh, tell us all about it. Millennial mansplaining is kind of crazy.
That is
but
crazy.
I mean, don't we have to if she's 100? I mean, don't. see, TikTok is an app. See, they have these things called smartphones.
Yo, I need for security.
We got a millennial mansplain the difference between millenniums.
Yo.
I'm sorry. So
Out of pocket.
it says,
man.
except you couldn't. Your joke sucked because
that's a lie.
because
That's a fucking lie.
100-year-old woman owned your ass and jokes were just put downs because you couldn't handle it. Sorry you were raised by cell phones Everyone gets a trophy and false praise from likes on social media. I have this is where it gets deep. I have endless job security because y'all are so weak-minded, weak of body.
I'm definitely not that. I'm definitely not
If
that.
we wanted a trophy, we'd come up with a strategy to try to win it. Work for it, win or lose. At least Gen X has some of that spit out some kids.
Whoa! Maybe if you would have been swallowed, we wouldn't have been getting this email.
It says at least Gen X had some of that and spit out some kids before we became totally addicted to our computers and phones. Y'all have unrealistic expectations and never learned how to lose or handle disappointment as kids. Nope. It's about your adult pride and proudly proclaim you quit on Facebook when you really chose to hide at home instead like a child. No one can teach you because I guess it's easier to believe all the likes and false compliments supporting your own opinions that everything is so unfair while dreaming of being an internet influencer or having a popular podcast. Congrats, you made it. I turned on because of the title of the show on Free Speech TV. So left feeling, what's the point in this 50-something trying to tune in again? So apparently, you have something you want to say?
No.
Millennial mansplain?
Yeah. Thanks for the compliment that we're millennials, but we're actually a lot older than we look.
We are.
Because we come from the 80s.
We do come from the 80s, yes.
And so you're probably,
yes,
in our age group. We're probably in our generation.
Yes.
So, yeah,
maybe.
we appreciate you.
Well,
yeah, maybe. I don't, but
50-something.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my parents are older than you.
Yes.
So,
yes,
I say this to say, it's so interesting to me that these people, when they get online and they complain about being online, how are you communicating with us? Online, you fucking dunce. Like, yo, fucking Pratt, man.
But he watched this. She found out about the show on Free Speech TV. So
we
wasn't
have made
online.
it. Yeah.
Yes. And you turned into a great show. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was. Did you have a comment to, and this is somebody, it says K-E-L-I.
I went almost 20 years without having a cell phone.
Kelly? I'm just going to call you Kelly. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I have haters, so I don't know what you're talking about. We don't know how to live without lights.
Yes.
I'm about to say, like, yo.
I have people trying to get me up out of the paint.
You're a hater. You actually hating on us right now.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yes.
But what I heard through all of that was that she just felt lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hope that she can find herself some type of way.
Maybe the same church Candace Owens goes to.
I really am. I don't know. I need to maybe see if there's some research out there. I do not understand the guttural aversion that people have to laughter.
Yes.
Like, I don't get it. Like, everybody who writes us.
Yes.
Except for, Barbara with she's the one fact check that we disagree on.
Yes.
Everybody's like, y'all just laugh.
Yes.
Like, I do not understand.
Do you not tune in for the whole hour?
They don't want to see black people laughing. Trouble. You grew up with computers and phones, and obviously you are. I guess trophies for everybody. Is that how you grew up? Trouble? Is it?
There was a portion of my life where I had to knock on niggas' doors and ask if they could come outside. We weren't linking on Facebook and shit like that.
Yes.
But I feel like to defend this person.
Oh.
We do make a lot of really ageist remarks. And that's why.
Shut your young ass up.
That's why we get, responses like this.
It's the ageist people that be coming at us. Like, so of course.
We respond in kind.
Yes. And then, please, like Miracle said, we're joking. We love everybody.
I don't.
This nigga's not.
I don't love
I'm joking. Barbara, please. I hope you're still watching. All of Mr. Jackson, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of the elderly folks that have called in to talk to us. It's funny to me as jokes, as jokes. But we
beyond the ageist remarks, we do have fun with this.
Yes.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about things that could be tragic, that could be very heavy.
Yes.
And instead of delivering it to you in a way that's like, melancholy and depressing, we're adding our own spin to it, giving our opinions and stuff like that.
Look at Trouble standing up for the elderly. You know what I'm saying?
Next show. Next show. This
Next
week
level seniors.
we're gonna be at the AARP convention.
Wait, we do have one more. One more blackmail.
This the one that came from me?
No.
Okay.
This says it's titled Senior Citizen. Niggas love senility.
Oh shit.
Wow. Jasmine from the couch. Niggas love senility.
Man.
Oh my God. It says senior citizen this. It says FYI, I hate Matlock and never watched Murder, She Wrote yet. Hate to admit my seniority, but I do. Appreciate your views and humor very much because I get it. People really need that now. Although you were discussing a black senior's opinion and you should be glad any senior watches, nursing homes are expensive. I hope to God I never end up in one. It says, you are the best show on free speech TV now. Thank you, Pam.
Let's go.
For looking out for us.
Yo, lodge up, Pam.
We appreciate you. And,
Lodge up, Pam.
she ended it. Make trouble every day. I like that. We making trouble every day.
Good trouble.
Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
Again, we're all going to hopefully, inshallah, reach a certain age.
I know I want to.
In our life.
I've lived a full life.
Oh, okay, you got something?
Your life is just getting started, so you need not to be speaking that into existence. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, I do think that there is a cultural disconnect.
Yes.
With the idea that people are uncomfortable, that we joke and we don't take positions of power as seriously as some other people.
True.
But in my personal opinion, if you're killing my friends, I don't have to respect you.
Yeah.
Ooh,
In
that's
my
a great
personal
Yeah.
opinion, if you cannot have a conversation with me,
Yep.
I can laugh at your policies. Like
1000%.
It's just how I engage, and
Yes.
I get other people believe that like these topics are too serious, but like all the mental health practitioners have a wait list. Everybody,
Yeah.
no matter what age range, is suffering of mental health and depression. We have to laugh. We have to come together. We have to build community. And so when y'all tune in, it makes me happy because I feel like we're a community. I don't know what we should call our fans. I call my fans my blessings.
Yes.
So like, I think we're a community of folks coming together, and I really appreciate that we do have this back and forth. Again, don't
Elder Squad, is that what we call it?
Don't write to me personally. You can write to Siri and stuff. But again, I'm just going to see the silver lining. Oh gosh.
Our fans are going to be called from now on the ancestors. We think. So we have our white pages.
Yes,
Pause.
our
Very
white
special
pages.
white pages.
We have a very special
No,
white pages
wait,
that.
pause. Ancestors are no longer here.
I know it was a joke.
Yeah,
elders.
no, we knew.
The elders,
no.
it was a
The
joke.
elders.
It's a joke, Miracle.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to cut. No, First of all, have you ever gotten to a fight with an elder person?
I
Have
do,
you ever?
and I do not want to.
Did you ever, like when you were a kid, just get like yelped up in like church?
1,000%.
That
Yes.
strength is not
Yes.
something that I would like to
My
encounter.
great aunt was strong and she was old. Yes. Okay. Black lawyers in the bug.
Yes, Black Lawyers of the Bug is our white pages, and
Yes.
it has some people that are very near to dear to me, to my heart in this book, namely one of my colleagues who is on this show,
Yes.
Miss Miracle Jones, Esquire,
Yes.
who is part of the Black Lawyers of the Bug, and I
Yes.
don't know where she is in this book.
Where's
but,
Miracle? And has her.
Oh, there she is.
There she is, and she has her her fronts in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
Miracle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Stand on them.
Yeah,
Miracle
so-
Jones, one of the black lawyers in the burg.
Yes, lodge up to all
Yes.
the people in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
They know who they are.
Yes, including our very own Miracle Jones. With that being said, if you want to hit us up on our
miss
black
you.
and be a part
And I
of
love you.
our blackmail segment. You all right, brother? If you would like to be a part of our blackmail segment, info@1hood.org, info@1hood. If you want to purchase merchandise, go to 1hood.org, the1hood.org if you want to purchase merchandise, because y'all have been buying merchandise and we appreciate you. Or if you want to donate to 1hood. I don't know what just happened. Just a lot of laughter going on over here. He's trying to, make a love connection. I don't know, he's sending secret messages through the podcast. I don't know what's going on. With that being said, this has been another episode of This Week in White Supremacy. See y'all next week. Be safe. Drink your prune juice. All right, let's go.